and I will, there's a quorum. On the agenda, can I have, I think from my perspective, we need to, well, nope, we're gonna be able to, well, we don't have that one. So there's gonna be no policy manual 8F, use of private vehicles. So we don't have that this evening, so we'll table that till the next meeting. And then, we can also remove old business number A, because that's what we're gonna discuss in closed session. So with those modifications, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Agenda's adopted as modified. We gotta get, oh, look, something, oh, that's the projector. I'm like, oh, look, I got excited. Jesus.
Is that another? No, not quite. Hey, we're making it work, you guys.
You are.
Oh, no.
Go team.
I ran over a jacket.
Okay. I bet that's because I didn't realize it's missing.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys can't see from over there, but the rest of us can see.
How would you?
Okay,
Good.
all right.
What do I need first?
The first is the minutes of the November 20th, 2024 meeting.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay, so these are the November 20th, 2024 meeting minutes. We've all looked at them a couple times, but we can sort of scroll through.
How come they didn't get approved in December? You weren't ready?
Yeah, they weren't ready. My fault, not Dominic's.
Not looking for fault.
I'll take the blame. See, that's why Dominic had to leave the meeting. Mariposa began taking meeting minutes. That would be why.
5 minutes longer and I would add all of them too.
All right. Any corrections, additions, issues with the November 20th minutes? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Dave. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. December 18th minutes, because we didn't have a meeting in January.
I just want to point out this presentation of audit results because this comes back to, on the agenda tonight.
Yeah, and all we've got to do is certify that we reviewed them in December.
All right, one correction, I'm pretty sure it says I wasn't there, and I don't believe I was at that meeting.
You weren't at the December
I
meeting?
believe because I know that I missed that one, and then
Oh, yeah,
I was gonna be
Yes.
there anyway.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, that's correct.
I was on, oh no, the December, I was at that one, okay.
Yeah.
It's because I get you and your brother mixed up.
He was there, so I thought I was here, because I sent my proxy.
Yeah.
Yes, that is, now that you reminded me, because Jason was here, and when Jason walked in and I first looked at him, like, I was like, I didn't think Aaron was coming, and then because he was talking, and you guys sound so much alike.
Mhm.
I mean, I forget the looking alike, but the sounding. I was like, oh, Aaron's here, and then I looked over, I was like, oh, no, that's Jason. Okay, with that correction, any further corrections, edits, to the minutes? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve the December 18th, 2024 minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Thank you, I will second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion
I'll
carries.
abstain.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
Aaron probably will too.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Motion carries. I had no public comments, when I left the office on email, and I don't see any public here. So we will move on to comments from council members. Anybody have any comments? Alrighty. Ms. Christie, if you will present your report, please.
Does anyone want to turn down the lights or just see okay?
I'm okay once we get to the document. I think it's just weird when we have the background. Are you guys okay?
All right, I'm just like, I'm still like scrolling, like you guys are, somebody else is presenting it, I forgot that I'm supposed to talk to. All righty, so student enrollment, we are currently sitting at 373 students. Although it's not an ideal number for our budget, it feels great and in reality.
Great for teaching children.
It is, yeah. I mean, we have class sizes anywhere from 15 to 21 and with 2 adults and like some great things are happening. We have a new playground structure. That was really cool. They completed our new playground, the installation of our new playground structure at the beginning of January, and we held a ribbon cutting ceremony on January 13th. We had 3 foundation members present. Pat was here. And we had one state representative, Deborah Sariana was here. And that was really nice to be able to visit with her. Don't you think, Pat?
Yes.
Yeah, it was really nice. And she was very supportive of what we're doing. And also talked to Carlos quite some time and then connected with him up at the Capitol during the legislative session, went right up to him and said, where's your stuff? I told you I'd send you more money. So that was a great response.
I think it was good for Deborah to visit the school, and she found out some things about
This is her district? or-
charter schools.
Yep.
And she didn't know that we had a 4-day week, remember?
Yes, she said that we're the only, she said, I didn't know there were any schools in Albuquerque with a 4-day school week. I thought it was only the rural districts. And we said, no, we've been 4 days forever. And she goes, well, and she was really impressed and was excited to hear that it's working.
Yeah.
And then we talked a little bit about the intent of the 180 day rule versus the 1140 instructional hours. And she says, well, the intent was never for it to be days. And so she was very, very supportive of all of that.
She didn't even know she had a stake in the lawsuit. She didn't know her district had a stake in it.
Yep.
And speaking of which, I guess this should have been, or are you gonna get there,
I'm gonna
Christie?
talk about the calendar stuff under new business.
Okay.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say that, I don't know if you all know, but Judge Hunter struck down the 180-day rule.
Mhm.
It is now dead unless the legislature brings it back. It doesn't look like they're gonna do it right now. So that means we have some freedom
Mhm.
Good.
again.
Exactly.
I was glad to see that one.
Legislature wasn't necessarily in favor of it to begin with.
Exactly. All right, so we do have to make up a snow day, so we're doing that by taking 2 existing half days, March 5th and June 5th, and extending them to 2 full school days, because we're not required to make up days, we're required to make up hours. So that's how we're going to make up the hours. We had our first volunteer training class this morning, with our brand new policy and all the stuff. It was quite a heavy lift to try to wrap our heads around how we wanted to lay that out and make it as streamlined as possible so that it didn't become a deterrent for people. But I think we did a really good job. The training seemed to be very well received. It's much more in-depth than the previous training. We spend a lot of time talking about emergency procedures, different types of child abuse, how people report that. We talk about confidentiality, all kinds of stuff. So I think it went really, really well. People did not seem upset or annoyed by the length of it. The class, including the paperwork, about an hour.
That's not that long.
Not too bad. So the training itself, like the talking part of it, was probably about 25 minutes. And then we give them a packet of paperwork that includes the volunteer application, that includes like a release and disclosure statement. They have to sign off on the code of ethics, which is the same as what school employees have to sign off on. Then they have to sign off on a volunteer job description and a pledge agreement. So I think that overall it's gonna be good.
Good.
Yeah, so.
How many people?
This morning we had about 15, but we have 3 more trainings set up and we have about 15 to 20 signed up for every training.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, it's field trip season, so they're invested right now.
They want to see their kids go places.
Yes. All right, so we have lottery coming up on March 7th. We had an open house last night. We had about 25 prospective families attend. It was a really nice open house. It was real casual and laid back, but everybody seemed really happy. Felt like they had all their questions answered, so it seemed to be good.
How do they find out about the open house?
Some of them had gone to the charter school choice fair, the school choice fair a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them are just looking on our website because they're related to school shopping.
Were a lot of them kindergarten, or were they kind of like range?
Mostly kindergarten, special ed, and middle school, 6th grade. So people looking to, we always tend to have a big population at both kindergarten and 6th grade.
Right, the transition.
Yeah, exactly. So I do have academic progress data I can share if there's time. So Mariposa, you'll have to let me know if you want me to go into that tonight or not, or if you want me to maybe hold this till towards the end of the meeting so we can get through some other stuff.
Yeah, I think we should wait on the testing data and see what our time looks like since we were so delayed getting started. And then we can decide to revisit it.
And since we're reviewing it, maybe on this next Tuesday,
Mhm.
maybe that would make sense. We can see if there's other stuff we want to see or something, so.
I just don't wanna, since we got such a late start, I wanna get through the business we need to get through before we get to that. And it's important, but I think we need to clear this decks as much as we can.
Yep.
For business tonight. With all of our technical difficulties.
All right, so then I'll just leave those dates up there for a minute, but nothing major coming up.
Field trip to Dion's.
Hey, hey.
Yeah.
The kids will think that's major. Pizza.
We have a parent who works for Dion, and she has a student in 2-3 and a student in 4-5, so she helps coordinate everything.
I want to chaperone that field trip.
Okay, apart from the testing data, is there anything else, Miss Christie?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Then we can go back and do that. Do we have foundation tonight? Nope. I have to share my funny Ben Martinez story. We ended up on a meeting on a Zoom related to both of our regular day jobs. And he's looking at me and I'm looking at him and we were so out of context. And so then we get on the next meeting with the same group of people and I had an opportunity to say, Ben, are you AKCS, Ben? And he's like, yes, and you are too. And I'm like, yes, I am. So it was just funny. Okay, finance report, Miss Veronica.
Okay, we have 2 we've got to present tonight. So
I'm sorry, I can't find the bars.
No
I'm
bars
not
for
sure
either.
part, but do you need journal entries or anything? No, just the,
No, just,
I thought I'm just trying to find the right one here.
Yeah, just the bank
Yep.
register.
and budget report.
Okay.
So that one's January.
Yeah, we gotta do 2 tonight, guys,
You
so.
want December?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, both of them, yeah.
So we'll bring
Give me
up
just a second.
December 1st.
I'm trying to find it in my email. Give me just a second. I didn't know it was gonna be me doing this, so I didn't have it.
None of us knew that we were gonna have the technical difficulties we had this evening.
So Laura,
It'll be
I
fine.
just have the one that from the finance meeting.
I'll forward it to you, hold on.
Okay. I'm looking for it.
So we got a
Found
revised
it, found
budget
it.
from the state after our EDA.
There's no,
Not yet.
well, we got the unit value, so there's no change to the unit
Okay.
value.
There it is.
You found it?
Yes.
Okay, so tonight we'll look over December. So on January 15th, the Finance Committee met to review the December financials. That included the bank statement and the budget summary report that was emailed out to everybody. When we look over the bank statement, we look over the reconciliation and large dollar items. There was one journal entry in December, and that was fine. There were not any bars. Tonight, we met to review let's go
Let's
with
do that.
December
Let's do
1st.
December 1st,
December
yeah.
1st. Okay, so what?
Can you go to line 34?
Mm-hmm.
I think that one's a good one to talk about. Gila Electric, that's not our electricity, that's, we're trying to get an oven in our cafeteria, and those are the supplies to hook it up. So you're gonna probably see another bill from them coming up in the next few months as well for the final oven installation and everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
I had a go down. There was a big one that didn't look, that I either read too fast or I had a question. Keep going, Brian. That one, right there.
That one.
No, the 121,105. Cash receipt, House Bill 33 SB 9.
So that's our lease payment fund, HB 33 that we get, and SB 9, you guys are familiar with as well. There's usually this point of the year where it's really big and they're collecting property taxes. Yeah. It won't always be that high.
Oh,
I know, there's some months where it's only a few hundred and I'm like, oh.
Are you ready for the budget report?
The one I want you to really pay attention to between December and January is really IDEAB. You're gonna see that it dropped significantly, and I'll explain why when we go to January, but we're looking good in terms of spending those non-reverting funds for next year. And just a friendly reminder, like, for example, the 31200, that 3 cents, I will spend it, I promise. I just have to do a journal entry at the end, and it's easier to do it then than now, so.
There's January.
Wait, I want to do the vote on December 1st. Sorry. All right, so can I have a motion to approve the finance and budget report for period ending December 31st, 2024?
So moved.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Now we can go to January, please.
On January's bank rec, Christy and I have a few reimbursements I just want to point out and talk about. I think the first one's line 61. I think the first one was me. That one, is that just a minute?
There you go.
There it is.
That's
You are.
The 239.88, that's Adobe. So there are some software programs that we have where they will not take a purchase order. We have to put it on our cards and it hits in a timely manner. Christy also has Dropbox. I know I've got another one and she has 2 other ones, but I have a list in my office to keep track of those things. And then Christy, the 172.
What's the mechanical concepts?
Huh?
What's the mechanical concepts, the one right underneath that?
That's our HVAC.
So filter changes.
Mhm.
HEPA filters.
And Christy, at 172.77.
Oh, that was a reimbursement for, staff appreciation gifts. And then the other one is $59 is for, to renew my background check, because I was up for my 5-year renewal.
And then my
Did
73.
you pass?
I did. In fact, I have it for Money Closer to sign off on tonight.
Do we still have leftover filters from COVID where we like bought a bunch of them, or does that include like?
Like for the HVAC?
Yeah,
No, because they would stock them for us, and then they would only charge us when they would come do the changes.
for the filters, so that includes the price of the filters plus the labor. Because that's a lot to change filters.
Yeah, but there's a lot of units too.
Yeah.
But the material, like.
It's the
there's-
material and the labor, yeah.
Are we still using the MERV 13?
Nope, we're back to MERV 9s.
Are they cheaper?
Much
Yeah.
cheaper, and they
Much
don't have as much wear and tear on the units, and they don't have to be changed out monthly, they're changed out quarterly.
Oh, cool.
So we've decreased our cost significantly this year.
Since we're not running the hospital and all.
Exactly. But we've also seen a lot more illness. I don't know if it's connected or not.
There's also a trifecta of respiratory viruses going around right now, so.
And then I had a $73 one that was just a few lines up. That was for postage. The software on our postage machine is actually no longer supported, and I unfortunately found that when I really needed stamps, so I had to go get some stamps. But we're getting a new postage machine installed tomorrow.
So like when it lists Laura Riker, are you Laura?
I am, that
Oh,
is me. It's just too hard to change my name everywhere.
Right.
Legally, that's what it is now, but I don't know. Yeah.
Do they have to, so you have to pay with your personal card and then you get reimbursed? There's not like a business card that you guys can get to that kind of stuff?
No, we don't have like generic credit purchase cards like that.
Well, you get points, I guess.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lots of us do all of our expenses that way on our personal cards and get reimbursed. For
They give us the
Forward
option.
Visions
and
is,
it's like,
our,
No, I want it on.
mobility, orientation and mobility, therapy services.
I like it on my personal ones, I get miles, and I
Me
just
too.
pay it, that's something.
Mhm.
Does anyone
All
have
right.
questions on anything else?
There was one other, hang on, it was right in this general vicinity, Brady Industries,
That one is janitorial supplies only.
okay.
Remember when we had to split supplies versus service?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to avoid that out from you. Okay, so IDEAB, you'll see it went from like 51% last month to -1% this month. The reason is because I mentioned this a few months prior. I only allocated about 50% of IDEAB, and I didn't want to do it to all of our special ed staff because we applied for PPLN. And so we did submit PPLN by the end of January, we got it in. But until we know what we're applying for and who we're billing for on it, I don't know how to allocate these funds in a strategic way, if that makes sense. And they do look at how much of IDEAB was spent. So once I knew with PPLN who we were spending it on, I allocated the rest of IDEAB over to other people who were not applied for on that specific grant. Hopefully to maximize it, we show the need that, yes, we do need those funds. Just keep in mind, I know it's like, what is it, $1,053 that I over allocated on it. Just remember at the end, that will come out of operational. I'm not gonna fix it right now because sometimes the system is projecting those salaries and benefits, and sometimes it does over project a little bit. So I'd rather spend this to zero and then do a journal entry at the end instead of doing it now and then having to do it at the end if it's off by a little bit anyways. Yeah.
What's preschool IDAB?
So that one was for our kindergarten.
Okay,
It was the special ed allocation for kindergarten only.
it's labeled preschool.
Yeah,
Because that's how they send it to us.
yeah. That one's always kind of small. And then the 24153 English language acquisition, there's $9.55 left. I don't know if we're gonna spend that far down, but. Because it's really specific. You can't go beyond what you're buying. So if I buy something, it either has to be exactly $9.55 or less. It cannot go like $10. I can't buy something that's $10. fitness fund is kind of weird, so. Yeah.
So
I know.
So Laura, oh, go ahead, Dave, you had a question.
So the $12.9 million current budget on the bottom on the second column, that is, you said you know the amount per student now, is that
Yeah.
incorporated in there?
It's not yet, we haven't gotten the bar yet for it, hopefully they're generating that soon, but we did get the final unit value in January, and it didn't change from what it was initially, so.
So what's that gonna do to the 12.9 million?
Oh, Christie, we looked at that last.
I'm sorry, I was trying to get the
It
next
was with
document ready.
Sarah. Do you remember the difference on it? We had talked about that 2 meetings ago.
Yeah,
Because
it was like 200,000.
It was less than what we thought it
Yeah,
was
it was
gonna be. It was
significantly
like,
less.
It was much
It's
less.
not gonna drop to 10.
yeah,
Okay.
no, it was significantly less than what we thought it was gonna be, Dave, and I can't remember the number either, but
No,
the
that's
good
okay.
news was also that, because we've had some staff changes in the beginning of the year. Christy and Laura have been, and Anna have done and Danielle's done a really good job of, using people that we have instead of replacing staff. So we have some savings in payroll for not replacing that will help us plan not only for the hit we're about to get, but then what's gonna come for next year too. So
Okay,
it
great,
was encouraging. It wasn't as
Yeah.
scary as we thought it was.
excellent, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the budget report?
Before we approve, was there anything that especially you guys reviewed tonight, or just the general stuff?
Journal stuff, large dollar items,
Personnel file?
personnel file we did in November,
Yeah.
so we're good.
I'll probably do it in March. I don't
March,
know.
just, because we do it once a quarter. There were no bars for tonight.
So with that, can I have a motion to approve the budget report and financials for period ending January 31st, 2025?
So move.
Second,
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Ms. Pat, you are up. We don't have any applied assets or anything else, right?
We do not.
Okay, very good.
I don't have anything on nominating, but I do have information on a new course that's coming up for those of you who don't have your CEs. I sent an email out with it late this afternoon, right before I left. But it's 5 hours for those of you who are not new board members. And it is on the 7th of March, which is a Friday, in the afternoon, and you can get all 5 hours. And I included in the email, the PO and the link.
And if I remember correctly, it's Kelly Callahan who's
Kelly's
presenting
doing
it
it
all.
now,
I am going
and it's
to
live.
try. I'm waiting to be scheduled on the 7th, and I'm hoping it's in the morning. So if it is, I will sign up right away. And I know I don't want to spend the money, but I need to spend the money so I
Well,
can
it's
just get it done.
live, on the 7th, but they're recording it, so I'm
It was
assuming,
cheaper for the recording too.
All you can do.
I'm assuming you'll get a chance to,
Mhm.
do
How
the
is that
recording at
different than
some
doing
point.
the Canva?
Yeah.
I don't think it was probably much different.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
that
sure
it's
they
any
just
different.
record and turn it Canvas style, would be my guess.
I don't know if they're gonna do it, the way that I read the email, it appeared that you paid, instead of the live fee, you paid a different fee and you got to just watch the 5 hours. They didn't break it into the hours, but I don't know, it may be broken into the hours, who knows? So.
That's all I have.
Can you remind me of the deadline for the training? Is it July? May?
We have to have all of our hours no later than June 30th, but
But don't trust that.
Don't
We tried
trust
that last time, they cut us off.
Aaron and I got in trouble last year because they cut us off.
June 1st is probably the smarter play.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, that's pretty sad when I went.
But it's
On
5
June
hours,
30th.
guys, not 8 like before, so you should be able to.
And the the training is much better this year. They revamped it. The guy's funny.
Yeah.
Whoever's done the recording.
And Veronica, the 5 hours, when you went on Canva, it's clear which 5 hours we have to take, or is it like?
It's just
modules?
lays it out for you. So it's got like one module, and within each module it has chapters. So within the chapters, you just have separate videos that you may or may not be able to go on double time with.
But they-
And then
they
there's a quiz at the
shortened-
end.
They shortened it to 5 hours from last year though?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so it's
Yeah,
not like
we
you
don't have
select
8.
the right ones or something.
Yeah, we don't have 8 anymore.
And if they're slow talkers, you can double time.
You could double time it. It will not take you 5 hours to listen to it.
And if we
And then
get,
there's a quiz, and then you do your quiz. You can retake the quiz if you need to retake the quiz. And then what happens is I think they go and then they review it. So like, once they review it, then they'll probably notify that you that we completed it. So much better. It was like I said.
and if we can get our budget training, meeting, strategic planning, part of budget can
Yeah.
qualify for credits. So
Mhm.
if you haven't taken the budget classes with me, you can get credits there too. So, just, we gotta remember that. All right, we've approved this, so we're moving on. We're on Pat. We can get that down. Let's see, where are we? Okay, Ms. Pat, you didn't have anything else other than to get to policy?
No,
Okay.
just the policy, and we have 2 second readings,
We only have one, because we don't have
oh,
the
because
second.
we can't find it. I have not done anything more than pulling up other policies to review until we get these guys up.
Yeah, let's get these
It's
guys
driving me
done.
crazy to have them sitting there.
Agreed. So, Ms. Christie, if you can pull up the staff use of restraint and seclusion techniques, it's the second reading.
I think it's there.
Oh, it's there. When I looked up the last time, we were still on budget. Look at the agenda.
She is on the ball. On the ball.
Yes, on it. Okay, so this is our second reading. We discussed this in detail at the last meeting, and it went back, 2 meetings in a row. And I went back and deleted, you can see the changes that we made as we had discussed, as a result of the first reading, to change school to AKCS. So you'll see that change throughout the policy. Christy, you just scroll down. Instead of where appropriate, we had gone through and discussed getting rid of AKCS employee in the appropriate places and exchanging that with the head administrator or their designee. So you'll see those changes throughout. That highlighting was left from when Fabian started to do the changes. And I think that's all that I changed, because that was everything that we had discussed at the last meeting, was to make it clear, to get rid of the generics in the policy and identify the appropriate staff and change school to us. So with that, those are the only changes that we did. If anyone needs to take more time to read it, again, we can do that. So just let me know what you'd like to do and we can read or move on. And again, if you all remember, this policy was originally drafted with the generics in it by our council. So apart from changing the generics to specific for our school, we did not make any other changes.
And I have just such exciting news. After all of this, there's a new bill up right now that's gonna change all of this. If it gets approved.
I know. Well,
I've been watching it like crazy.
Yes.
Yes. And so we'll go back to the drawing board when, and if that passes, but even if it does pass, it won't become effective till July 1st or May 1st at the earliest, but probably July 1st, so. We have time.
No, I move to approve.
Thank you, Erin. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Pat. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All righty. Dominic, I know we don't have Fabian tonight, so we're not doing the report or the review unless you feel up to it for strategic planning. And let's see, I think the only thing, and I would prefer that we can try to, I'll get with Fabian and see if we can come up with some potential dates. Or Dominic, you guys can come up with some. It's gonna only get worse for weekends, so we need to figure out a day that we can do budget. at the appropriate time. Laura, part of that is the training, but I think we can use the draft budget, so are we looking at March, April? In the,
For draft budget?
yeah, I just want us to be thinking, because as you all know, my schedule is really dumb, but it's getting worse because I have a senior in high school, and we have all the
We don't
senior
know on the
stuff
seniors.
is happening from now until we graduate.
March weekends are pretty clear for me, except for that spring break weekend.
Well, none of us, we don't, no one needs
Yeah,
to
we
be here
changed the
spring break,
meeting.
because we
We
changed the
don't
meeting.
have spring graduate workshop till like April 9th or 11th,
Okay,
so I don't really have like any info until then,
Until then?
honestly, to even have
Okay.
a draft budget.
do you wanna just do training then,
Yeah,
and then we
we
can
can
do
do
draft budget like we did the last time workshop?
Just earlier than that.
Yeah, so let's think about March. I'm kind of leaning towards, and we'll have to coordinate with Fabian and everything, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe the 29th for a Saturday, if we're gonna do that, would probably be the best. It's after session, so I'm not gonna get called to committee meetings, and I can miss soccer if I have to.
I'm a little bit lost, so the 29th is the training.
What we were gonna do when we canceled the Saturday meeting
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we decided to combine everything. So we were gonna do our budget training for 2 hours, right, or an hour and a half, however long we were looking for credits to. And then we were gonna do the strategic planning finalization meeting all in one day.
Okay.
So that we could get it, all the business we needed to get done on a weekend day done,
That makes
and use
sense.
everybody's time wisely.
Yes.
So we had originally scheduled the last meeting from 9 to 1 with that schedule in mind, so that was what I was thinking about again. If the 29th is kind of a decent placeholder, we can see how Fabian's life is working out and check with Rhonda, and then try and firm that up.
That's April 29th?
March 29th.
What time are you?
And what time did you say again?
9 to 1.
9 to 1, like we were thinking of the last time.
I think that's enough time.
Maybe we could do 9 to 2, because we're gonna wanna eat.
I know.
I mean, I'll bring breakfast, but then we're gonna want lunch, so. maybe
What-
nine-
what
I'm
day
gonna
was
block it
that?
off till 2 o'clock.
The 29th,
March 29th?
yeah, Saturday, March 29th.
I can order pizza for lunch. If you do breakfast burritos.
That works.
And then save your receipts and we'll reimburse you.
And is it going to be here?
Yes, we would do it here. So does that work for everyone to hold, and then we'll confirm with Rhonda and Fabian if it works, and if not, we'll go back to the drawing board, but we at least accomplished some business, why Fabian couldn't join us tonight.
Hey, the only other thing I wanted to mention, that brochure had made changes that we had talked about in November, December timeframe. Sent those out. It looked like Fabian didn't have any comments. We had approved with changes that it could be released. The last time that it was in the agenda, that's when I looked back at the meeting notes, it was, if we made these changes, it was approved for release. So, if you guys are still okay with that, I think it's final and ready for,
Stay with the school.
yeah, stay with school.
Yeah.
I just didn't want that to fall off because,
Yeah, no, I think we just need to
That's the
have,
way.
if it's ready to go, someone needs to get me a file, let me see if I can get printing done.
I think we were just gonna send it out via
Email,
school email. Christie, was that your recollection?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
okay.
But if you
awesome.
could get printing done, hanging around the school wouldn't hurt, would it?
No, I mean, we could send it out by email, and then we could reduce the amount of printing and maybe get like 50 to just have hanging out for you guys to pass out if you need it.
How many of those volunteer things you have, 3 more sessions?
We'll have more than that.
No more than that. Just curious.
Exactly.
So Christy and I can work on the printing logistics, but whenever you guys
Send it to
are ready, yeah, just send it to me and she can get it out to the community.
Yeah, just let me know when.
Post it on the
Fabian,
website.
Fabian gave,
I can post it on the website.
Fabian gave a thumbs up. Christie, if you can just look at it, or I can resend it to you at your top of your box,
Please.
just to make sure that
So
those
now I
pictures
know I have
are,
the right one too.
and that the picture's right, because we did change those pictures.
I'll look it up.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Well, yay, we got some strategic planning for the committee, so that should be helpful. Okay, we are now on to new business. So the first is discussion and certification of the audit findings presented at the December meeting. If you all will recall, I was delinquent in the agenda because I forgot that we had to certify. So Jason came, Kugler came, he presented our audit report, our results. We had a good discussion about the audit report and the results, and so this evening we just need to certify that we did that. So I will make a motion to certify that the governing council reviewed and discussed the FY '24 audit results at our December meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Well, abstain.
Dave, are you abstaining too? Were you
I
here in
read
December?
it, somebody
Okay,
sent
right.
it out, so
Okay.
I feel good about approving it.
Perfect. Okay, motion carries. Next item of new business is just to remind us all that our meeting is going to be close to this meeting, March 12th, next month, because we're moving for spring break. And then Miss Christie.
I won't be there on the 12th, unfortunately.
Okay. You traveling somewhere fabulous, Dave?
Vegas.
No. Well, it's
I wanna
fine.
go to
Basketball.
Dave, actually.
Are you gonna go to Lobo, to the Mountain West?
Yeah,
I'll be at the championship on Saturday.
you will?
Are you at that game?
The Lobos are playing.
We already bought tickets to go to the championship, so.
I will probably go anyways.
Cool.
We just kind of pick them up on the secondary market.
All right, so Miss Christie, let's do discussion and action on the calendar.
All right, well, as we talked a little bit, the wonderful, fabulous judge in Roswell knocked down that 180-day rule, which was fantastic for us. But it also left us in a little bit of limbo with trying to figure out the calendar for next year and trying to figure out, okay, well, if that's no longer, then what do we revert back to? And so we're kind of in a sticky space a little bit. I did go ahead and pull my calendar team together so that we could get a draft of next year's calendar going, because I still need to get it sent to APS, and I would rather have something in place and then wait to see what happens with the legislative session to see if any new bills get dropped. And then if we get anything else from PED that just kind of says like, here's what you're supposed to be following at this point. But I felt like we had to get something out. So what we did is we erred on the side of caution and mirrored this current year's calendar. So it is just nearly identical. We kept all school days at 4 days because that was one of the things that came about with all of this, and we weren't sure if that would be something that they would try to get sticky with again and trying to, in definitions of a 4-day week versus a 5-day week. So we kept everything at 4 days just to be on the safe side. So this is, I think the only difference from the calendar we're looking at, which would be for next year versus the current year calendar, is we were trying to figure out conferences. Oh no, we ended up changing it back in the long run. Never mind. So scratch that. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, go ahead, Maria.
Do we have any idea, and I'm only just thinking ahead, I mean, the school day is the same as what we're doing now, right?
No, so what I did.
Busing at APS is scheduled, that's
So
what I'm asking
what I'm
about.
proposing is that, I don't know anything about busing yet, but what I would like to propose is a student school day of 8:20 to 3:42, which would be backing us up 10 minutes, which is more of what we were doing prior to this year. I don't know what APS is going to be able to do in terms of busing, but I mean, if we have to stick with that 8:30 time frame like we are on this year, we'll do that. But I felt like it just is so late in the afternoon and everybody hits traffic by the time dismissal's done. And then it runs into issues with after school programs and people trying to get to things after school. So I'd really like to try to back us up 10 minutes if possible.
Okay, and I see a note on the side for the middle school days, 3:47.
Yeah, because we need to make sure we get all our minutes in.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a squeak in minutes.
All right, and we don't know what APS is doing for their calendar yet, or if they're gonna rearrange
They
hours.
have, so APS has actually already approved 2 years worth of calendars. They've
Okay.
done 25, 26 and 26, 27, and we did use the 25, 26 calendar, to look at ours, so that we could align all of our big major breaks.
That was my next question.
Did their starting times change?
I don't know.
Are they still doing 180 days?
They do like 180.
188
right now. With staff is 188, and I think kids are like 183.
Oh, I had it and it went away. So your last statement, Chrissy, I just want to make sure I understood. We did align Christmas break, spring break with APS?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yep, and we took off, we have another election day coming up this year, so we made sure to take off election day because that's now in state statute. So the major things that we have, anything in yellow is a middle school only day, blue is professional development, red is a no school day. So we've got Labor Day, and then we took off Indigenous Peoples Day, which is what we consider like fall break. Then we've got Election Day, Veterans Day, this right here, November 19th, 20th, that is student-led conferences, so those would be half days. And then the 21st would be a full day of conferences. We've got Thanksgiving break, and then another PD day in December, and then winter break would be December 22nd, with staff returning on January 5th and students returning on January 6th. We have Martin Luther King Day off, President's Day off. The dark black box is into the trimester. And then we've got more conferences in March, and then spring break is like that last 2 days of March into the first 2 days of April. It's really not fair because it really makes it look like there's not a spring break with the way that splits.
Can I ask a question about conferences back to November? And it's just more curiosity than a concern. I always struggled with the half days the week before Thanksgiving and then the 2 full days before the Thanksgiving break.
Like, why don't we do it?
Why don't we do the half days, the Monday and
Because people don't
Tuesday?
show up, they decide that it's only half day of school, so let's just start our vacation early.
Okay. Cause that was always a hard one, and, you know, if we were gonna be gone, we were gonna be gone anyway, so, okay.
I mean, a lot of people are gone that week.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a challenge, the 2 half days right before a vacation, you know, a
Yeah.
holiday week, work-wise, you know, I'm just thinking about the parents, it was always a challenge to get
That's
here
good feedback for us.
in the afternoon
That
for
is
the
super
half days.
helpful.
Especially the week before a holiday, because if I was gonna take off Monday, Tuesday, having the half day was really hard. So that's just my own personal gripe, but it's fine.
So what I'd like to do is again, so just so that we can have something to send to APS, because what happens is they can't set up registration until they have everybody's calendar. And if you remember this year, we had a big problem because we were in flux with all these calendars, and then they finally came back and said, you've got to pick a start date, and then no matter what, that's your start date, that can't be changed. But then we could make changes other places. So if we can get something approved and submitted, they could at least build it knowing that July 31st will be the first day. And then if we need to make changes based on what comes through, then we could do that. I haven't put anything out to the community yet. Again, because I'm kind of, I don't know. You lawyers may know differently, but I was kind of anticipating that PED may try to address what they want through the legislative session and try to do it through introducing a new
Not
bill.
only that, they're still within their appeal window.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
And even if they did appeal, the ruling would stand until it was reversed, so there's a little bit of time there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A little bit, Aaron? There's a lot of time
There's a
there.
lot of bit of time
There's 2.5 years there.
Yeah, I fully expect they're going to try to address it through legislature, but I
I
don't think they're gonna have any success.
I haven't seen anything drop and I haven't heard any scuttlebutt, but
So
I don't know.
I did see one bill drop, but it was before the ruling from the judge, and it basically said that, Aaron, I think I read, or I shared it with you, and I'm trying to remember, it gave the authorities to charter school governing councils and school boards to determine whether the school week would be 4 or 5 days, but it gave all the authority back to the boards, basically.
Which I felt like it was their attempt, if the ruling goes wrong, we're gonna jump ahead of it, right? But the ruling went in favor of what that bill would. So I just don't feel like they've got a strong enough contingent of legislators on either side of the aisle to fight this fight.
Right.
Because the legislators have so much to lose, and the people in the rural districts are like, hell no, get cremated, and I don't think there's enough.
Right. Yeah, and so we had a really hard time. Aaron was trying to help us to find the statute that was in place before all of this happened, because what happened is when PED put the rule out, they changed the statute to align with the rule, like what we could find.
The rule, they changed the regulation.
Yeah, thank you. And then so all that we could find in terms of like what guidance do we follow, all fell back and followed that rule. So we couldn't find anything that predated that to kind of figure out what are we supposed to be doing. And so Aaron was really helpful in helping us to kind of find that, but it still was like muddy. It felt muddy. So we just, again, we just kind of kept things, we figured if our calendar was approved this year, we keep it the same, it should be approved next year without having to make major changes.
And it's not drastically different than calendars we're putting forward before this.
Exactly.
So this is what, 160 and 164 days?
106, yes, exactly.
Yep.
And the only thing that was different this year than what we've done previously is like, we never made a 5-day school week. So it used to be like a middle school Friday would sometimes fall after a 4-day week. And then we would have that Friday. Now, the way that we've set it up is that never happens. And so and if there's no school on Monday, there's always some kind of school on Friday now.
Yep. Which for middle school was pretty much the case.
It's hardly a holiday then.
Well, it is because we never have school the Friday before the Monday holiday, so we have a
4-day weekend, okay.
Exactly. And that's beautiful.
All right, any other comments, questions, or concerns? I'm good with it, so I'm ready for a motion if everybody else is. All right, I will make a motion to approve the calendar as proposed for the 25-26 school year. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All righty. So I don't think we actually have any old business. I think closed session is gonna take probably about half an hour-ish. So do you guys wanna have Christy, it's 7 o'clock, do you wanna have Christy present the data that she has right now, and then we'll do closed session?
I think we can push that to the next meeting.
Yeah,
We can we're gonna do a academic committee, so we'll look at it.
I'll share what I have with you guys, so you can look at it ahead of time.
Okay.
yeah, okay, cool. Cause I'm fine with whatever the committee wants more than anything right now, and then we can have a real presentation at next month's meeting for all of us after you guys meet.
Sounds good.
So then we can move on, to, closed session. So I will make a motion to go into closed session, for the discussion of, limited personnel matters and, matters pursuant to exception 7 as listed on the agenda. Do I have a second? further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. On
We're live again? Yep.
All right, so we are live and we have exited by motion from closed session. I hereby certify that we did not discuss anything that was not noticed on the agenda in closed session pursuant to the exceptions. And we are done with business for this evening, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.
I'll send you